Look, I haven't been absent. But I want to say that I appreciate those of you asking me when I'm going to do another vlog. Here I am doing one. I'm going to try to do one. My objective is to do at least one personal vlog every day, from here through the Democratic National Convention and beyond. So some of them will be about economics and politics, some of them will be personal. This one is personal, and it is based on something that happened Friday and led me to be greatly depressed. And what happened was that I went to this Sausalito Jazz Festival, and there's a fellow there that I know who's part of this picnic group we had, whose name, of course, I'm not going to use, but he has the tendency, this Italian Latino mix fellow, to use the N-word in talking to me. You know, I mean, not into me. Like, oh, you know, and I ask him to stop, and he doesn't stop because he thinks it's funny. Okay, it is not funny. And so I became really intensely annoyed with him and wanted to distance myself from him, because when he gets around me, he has that tendency to do it, and friends don't do that. So coupled with that, another, I thought, friend was texting me regarding how to get to the festival, and this is someone that I had met very recently, but had talked to every single day this week, because we were talking about partnering in business, and also I thought we clicked. You know, you think you have a friend. And then my other friend, who I've known for 10 years, brought the guy along who's using the N-word, you know, and so she gets schnockered, and I'm explaining to her that I don't like that he says that term, and she accuses me of seeing race. How can I see race? That was brought into my face. So I wrote, and then, but the bottom line is that the other friend, that when she finally arrived, instead of finding me, you know, with her friends and all coming over and us being as one, she's off to the side, texts me and says, "I see you," and then I see her, and I go over, and I thought I'll bring them wine, I'm hanging out with them, but then I can't bring the two groups together, and then when they leave, they don't even ask me if I want to join them or anything. They just take off, and you know, that's about it. So at the end of the day, I'm by myself, right? Should have invited someone myself. But the whole point is that I thought I was going to be among friends, and they're all white, and I'm not. In fact, at one point, I was one of maybe 2 African Americans in the entire jazz festival as people were leaving. Of course, you know, I think that full population there, maybe what, 10 out of 500, right? And that underscores the point of how hard it is, in my opinion, to have good friendship bases in the Bay Area, consistent bases in the Bay Area, with people who are not black. I mean, it's hard as heck to do it anyway, because sometimes people in the Bay Area tend to think of friends as they say, "Oh, you're my friend," but really it's an acquaintance. A friend, and what happened was a friend is a person you have a sort of a social contract with. I call it consideration, and in fact, I wrote a sort of a Dear John letter, if you will, by email to the 3 friends, well, 3 friends I was talking about, not the guy that said the N-word, because I don't want to talk to him anymore. He's not my friend. But the one person I talked to, who I talk to every single day this week, sent me an email back, and it was just not right at all. I didn't write an email saying, "Hey, you guys, you were terrible," or anything. I wrote an email seeking and asking for them, as my valued friends, to understand me. And her point was, well, we just met, but consider that we not only talked and emailed every day, went to a movie on Wednesday, introduced her to business people that I knew regarding a film festival, you know, and so on. I thought we were friends. I thought it was, you know, some friendship to me doesn't know a timetable. If you meet, you instantly like someone, you meet and you instantly like that person, period. You know, that's just it. And then my friend I've known for 10 years, who just doesn't get it, I've been by her side when, you know, her boyfriends haven't treated her properly and everything else. And it, you know, we both have tried to find, I mean, we're both straight, of course, that's not the issue. We both try to find folks for each other, all that jazz, you know. But whenever this matter comes up of race, she turns like a blind eye, you know. But if she complains about something, I'm there to hear her. But if I complain about something, she doesn't hear me. And after a while, you know, it gets to be bothersome. It's difficult for me, for example. The other thing that happened is, for example, I went to the Grove, and I sat down. Grove is a cafe in San Francisco, and I sat down at this big table, lots of space. And you had these people, mostly white, oh no, all white, because there wasn't anyone else black, one other person at one point there, who would just sort of go by the table. It's a big table with a lot of space. They would kind of look, instead of going right by, they would look like they were going to sit down and then move. And meanwhile, I've got earphones on. I'm working on our site for sports business simulations. And then at one point, this lady says, "Is it okay if I sit here?" Well, the place she's talking about is, you know, 6 feet away from me, roughly. Okay, well, 4 feet away from me, roughly. I have no control over that space, but I looked at her and I said, "Of course." You know, it's episodes like that that just, as Ralph Wiley once said, are why black people tend to shout, you know. But what I'm asking and what I'm saying is that, if you're going to have friends, it doesn't matter what color they are, really. You have to work to give them the kind of respect that they're due. But you have to remember, when your friends are African American, you can't subconsciously place them in a certain area. If you have a friend, you've got to treat your friend as that, and particularly if they are giving you consideration, if they're calling you and inviting you to things and embracing you, give it back. I have a lot of people around the Bay Area that run into them at places, and they say they're friends. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I've decided they're not friends, and they're all white too. They all have these, I call them zinni. They call them zinni sightings. Well, I'm tired. These are folks that I've known for, in some cases, a long time. But you would think that if they know that I'm going to be at a Cal game, they'd call and say, "Hey, Zinni, join us. We're going to be here and there." But they've never done that. So the next time I see them, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep going. That's precisely what I'm going to do. You know, maybe I'll change my mind between here and when I see them, but for now, that's my feeling. And they're going to probably see this and say, "You know what? We need to change." At least I hope so. But they do. Okay. The person that I was talking about, who I had the constant contact with last week, wrote back and said that maybe I need more attention from my friends. It's not attention. Consideration. Consideration is a contractual term. It's an agreement that we're going to treat each other in a certain way when we see each other. It's not, "No, you call me all the time." That's far different. Consideration is a contractual term that's at the very seat of what it means to have a friendship. You know, you say you're going to be at a certain place. You're there. If you can't be there, you call. Consideration. If you have a group of friends that person doesn't know, you introduce them and then you bring that person into your group. If I do that for her, then she should do that for me. It doesn't matter if you're white and you're female and you're watching this. It doesn't matter if you're one of these people that may be, so I call them a closet racist, where you get on Match.com and you say, "I want a white preference" or whatever, but then you say, "I've got a lot of friends." If you do that, you really do have a problem. And I'm saying to you, first of all, you have to open yourself up. Okay? And I might add also, if you're black and doing the same thing, or Asian or Hispanic or whatever, you've got to stop. All right? It's still a form of racism. And if you practice that closet racism, it's going to come out in how you treat your friends. Okay? But right now, I'm saying to people I know out there who claim to be my friends, for which you know this applies to you, please change. I mean, and hear me, because I hear you all the time, and I'm always there for you. All right. Well, that's my first vlog. Next time, I'm gonna get after Bill Clinton.